Hello dear students of class 10. Today I am going to explain chapter 9, Heredity and Evolution. Just because that evolution part or topic of this chapter is removed from your syllabus, so we will only learn the chapter Heredity, the topic Heredity. So let's start. We have seen that reproductive processes give rise to new individuals that are similar but subtly different. We have discussed how some amount of variation is produced even during asexual reproduction, and the number of successful variations are maximized by the process of sexual reproduction. Why in asexual reproduction there is less variation, but in sexual reproduction the variation is more? Because in asexual reproduction there is no mutation takes place or no progeny takes place. Only a single parent is responsible for this. But in sexual reproduction there are two organisms are responsible for production of a new species or production of new progeny. Therefore, variation is more in sexual reproduction than the asexual reproduction. And again, there are another difference, that is the two parents are involved in sexual reproduction, but of different variations or different characters. But in asexual reproduction, only a single parent is responsible. So if you observe a field of sugar cane, we find very little variations among the individual plants because sugar cane reproduces asexually. That is why it has very less or little variation. But in a number of animals, including human beings, which reproduce sexually, quite distinct variations are visible among different individuals. We can see among ourselves that we are a little bit different from our parents due to the because we are hybrid. That means our parents are one male and one female. That's why mutation takes place during the cell division, and that's why we are the variations are more in among, but only a little variation among ourselves. So in this chapter we shall be studying the mechanism by which variations are created and inherited. The long-term consequences of accumulation of variations are also an interesting point to be considered. We shall be studying this under evolution. The long-term consequences means about after millions of years after, these variations are accumulated so much that a new organism will be evolved, and that is called evolutions. Now, what is accumulation of variation during reproduction? So, inheritance from previous generation provides both a common basic body design and subtle changes in it. Subtle changes means a little or minute changes among them in it for the next generation. Now think about what would happen when this new generation in its turn reproduces. The second generation will have differences that they inherit from the first generation as well as newly created differences. Figure 9.1, that is this figure you can see in the screen. I would represent the situation of a single individual reproduces as happens in asexual reproduction. If one bacterium divides and then the resultant two bacterium divide again, the four individual bacteria generated would be very similar. There would be only very minor differences between them, generated due to the small inaccuracies in DNA copying. However, if sexual reproduction is involved, even greater diversity will be generated, as we will see when we discuss the rules of inheritance. So we can see here Suppose this is a single bacterium, and bacteria reproduces by mitosis, that is asexual reproduction, and two individuals in the first generation is originated or created, that is these are with a very minute changes, that is this you can see on the top of one and another in the bottom. And again, when these two reproduces, the four individuals are produced, and there are again a little differences we can see, some with an unique character other than the its forefather or its previous generation. So we can see this one, that the top headed, that one, and again the top headed it has, but this one is an unique character. You can see no other generation has this character. So this is the possibilities of asexual reproduction in bacteria. Why bacteria has so minor? Because this small variation takes place during the DNA copying. That's why this little variation can take place. What is DNA copying? You have already studied in class 9. So DNA copying is actually the splitting of DNA molecule into two during the time of cell division. Now, do all these variations in a species have equal changes of surviving in the environment in which they find themselves? Obviously not. Depending on the nature of variation, different individuals would have So once again, I define heredity is the transmission of genetic characters from one generation to the next generation. So this is called heredity. This is what we called heredity. But now what is inheritance? That is the process by which genetic traits are passed from the generation to the next is called inheritance. So now a term here we can see that traits. So what is trait? The trait is a character. We can say it as such as our earlobes, our color of eyes, height, etc. are the traits. That is called character, physical character or morphological character of any organism is called trait. So here we have an example, inherited traits. So what exactly do we mean by similarities and differences? We know that a child bears all the basic feature of human beings. However, it does not look exactly like its parents, and human population show a great deal of variation. A little variation, that is some of our earlobes, you can see here. Here one earlobe is free and this is attached. So those character that is inherit from our parents is called inherited trait. That means among two parents, that is mother and father, one character must maintain or retain by the progeny or offspring. Now the genetic character that we discussed right now. So how genetic character actually what is, and this genetic character is maintained by DNA. Now what is DNA? Let's take an example, just like a building. If we construct an building, the architect or engineer make first its map, and this is the base of this building. According to map, they construct this building, and within this map where is different types of rooms are there. Just like that, in body of the human being, it is similar to the map DNA, and DNA is present within the our nucleus of the cell, and this nucleus contains chromatin threads. You know about this, and you already studied in class 9. So this DNA is a fragment of this DNA is present in our chromatin thread or chromosome, and it is a double helical structure, and this DNA is made up of protein, sugar, protein and sugar bonds. And this fragment, there are many protein fragments are there, and each fragment is called gene, or it's a factor, we can say it, factor. So each fragment is coding a single character. Suppose there are many characters in an organism, such as height, color, hair, eyes, etc. So each gene coding the every character. So a particular character. Suppose this fragment, this part or this fragment of DNA corresponding to height, this part corresponding to color, and this part corresponding to hair. So each fragment of DNA is called genes. So before moving on to our next topic, that is laws of Mendel's. You know who is Mendel? Mendel is known as the father of genetics. That is, the full name of Mendel is Gregor Johann Mendel. So before going to next topic, that is laws of Mendel's, we must know about some terminologies, such as first one I have already sent in on Teno for you. Character. It is a distinct, well-defined morphological or physiological feature of the individual, such as height. What is the meaning of morphological? That is external appearance. It is called morphological. And physiological, what is physiological? That is internal character. Now second one is trait. You have now heard this word about trait. Trait, it is a distinguishable expression of a character, as for example tallness or dwarfness. Suppose tallness and dwarfness comes under height. Height is a character, and tallness or dwarfness is a trait. Both the traits are does not belong to a single organism. Next one is factor. So it is a particulate entity that functions as a unit of inheritance, passing from generation to generation and controlling expression of a character, generally along with another factor of same character. The term factor has been replaced by gene. Before this, I make you understand what is gene. So gene, we can say it that gene is the a fragment of DNA that inherit that is decoding a particular character of the organism from its parent to the offspring. Offspring means child. So next one is alleles. They are various forms of gene which occur at the same particular position or gene locus over the chromosome. In higher plants and animals, there are two alleles of a gene called allelomorphs or allelomorphic pair that may express the same trait or different traits of a character. Why these alleles are always in pair? Just because we are actually diploid. All the higher organisms that reproduce sexually are diploid. Diploid means a nucleus contains chromosome, and we have 46 chromosomes. That means 23 pairs. Just 23 pairs from our mother and 23 pairs from our father. That comes along in offspring, or we can say it zygote, and each cell contains a homologous chromosomes, means always in pair, one from mother and one from its father, and that's why the both this one is called haploid. When gamete produced, it is haploid, and when its fusion takes place, it is diploid, that is, it contains 2n. That's why all the allelomorphs are, suppose if we take an example of tallness, then we can write the allelomorphs as TT. TT, capital TT represents the dominant character, and small tt, that is the dwarfness, and this is called recessive character. Now you can see phenotype. It is observable characteristic of an individual, as an example tall or dwarf. Observable means external appearance, or we can see it externally, suppose tallness or color of the hair or color of the eyes. These are called phenotype or phenotypic characteristic. What is genotype? It is a gene complement of an individual with regard to one or more characters. As for example, capital T represents tallness, and this cannot be appear externally. This is internal. This is called genotypic character, and are different, but these TT and TT are different, but they have the same phenotype. What is phenotype? If an offspring contain TT, that means externally it is tall, and again capital T small t, then it is also externally tall. So these both represent tallness. That's why they are same in phenotype but different in genotype. The monohybrid ratio of 3:1 is a phenotypic ratio. Its genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. We will study in laws of Mendel's, that is dominance character. Next one is homozygous. Homozygous, it is an individual having identical alleles of a gene, as for example capital T, small t. Okay, that's all for this video, and thank you. Next I will explain in the next video. Okay.